Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you all with one eye. Excuse my appearance. Call the meeting to order. Cassandra, you going to call the roll?
First, Mr. Chair, Courtney League as designee for Secretary Chaudhry.
Present.
Mr. Derenberg.
Here.
Vice Chair Eberhardt.
Here.
Jill Lemke as designee for Secretary Flora.
Here.
Mr. Gibbons.
Here.
Ms. Lala is absent. Dr. Wright.
Here.
And Chair Casemeyer.
Here. Thank you.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Cassandra, we have any revisions or public comment today?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Alex, your report?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. Very good to see you all here today. Today's agenda is a substantial one with a number of items that, when presented together, may seem to some viewers as rather technical and not necessarily exciting, maybe even mundane, but each agenda item will make a significant difference to and for the students and staff in the affected school. Each of these agenda items has required close attention to detail by IAC staff, partner agency staff, and in many cases, back and forth discussion with LEA staff to arrive at the right proposed action or solution to recommend to you for your approval. I therefore thank you for all the time and effort that you have spent putting into reviewing, considering, and deciding upon these recommendations. It's our intention in everything we do that your decisions here will have positive effects for decades to come for these school communities. Last month, Chair Casemeyer asked staff to begin developing some presentations for you regarding pivotal issues in facilities portfolio funding and management for future IAC meetings. Our staff is working on those, and we expect to schedule such presentations in the coming months. For now, I'll move to my executive director's report. First item is a quick summary or report on the 2024 legislative session, including the fiscal 25 budget and CIP. On Monday, the General Assembly ended with passage of the budget bills that are now on Governor Moore's desk for signature. The bills included the operational funding for the IAC of a little bit over $7 million, which is full funding of the agency's request. This amount would be an increase compared with last year, and it will help the IAC staff address the increasing number of project funding requests, financial transactions, and technical assistance demands that the school districts are presenting as they work to face constantly growing facilities needs, with, in many cases, stagnant or declining local funding on an inflation-adjusted basis. This operational budget, if passed, signed, will cover the major IT initiatives we're in the middle of implementing right now, which are the business management system and our upcoming facilities data system, which is scheduled for approval on the May 1st Board of Public Works agenda. On the capital budget side, the IAC is slated to receive $314 million for the capital improvement program, which is about $30 million more than the typical annual amount, plus about $136 million more divided into statutory amounts across the IAC's other programs. These amounts add up to the $450 million target that the General Assembly set for itself in legislation. As we've discussed in recent meetings, IAC staff are working to compile the data needed to estimate the unmet facilities needs statewide in terms of facility condition deficiencies, as well as the additional space required to deliver the pre-K programming required under the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, as well as, over the coming years, decarbonization efforts expected to support the state's climate protection goals. At your May meeting, once the 2024 session's bills are enrolled and then signed and enacted into law, I will provide a more detailed report on the key legislation from this session that affects the IAC. Now I'd like to provide a brief report on the continuing IAC engagement with Worcester County. Last month, I promised that I would update you all regarding the next steps in our work with Worcester County Public Schools and Worcester County government around not just Worcester's request for state funding for a proposed Buckingham Elementary School project, but also Worcester's strategies for addressing the other facilities needs that the school system is facing in the coming years. Last week, staff and I made another visit to Worcester County. I presented to the County Commission in a special meeting that they had called to discuss school capital funding. To add on to the two potential funding scenarios that we discussed with Worcester in February, I presented two additional scenarios that we expect would be eligible for state funding participation. The commission asked many good questions, and I was encouraged by the commission's engagement in the details of their school facilities needs. That same day, I also met with the Board of Education and discussed with them some of the options and issues around how we might collaborate for joint solutions to their facilities needs. These conversations are by no means complete at this time, but will continue in the near future as we work to support Worcester County in arriving at a project, or better yet, projects that the state can equitably support along with those of the other counties. I will reiterate that I am very confident that such proposals can result in a new school building for the Buckingham Elementary School community. If you have any questions about our work with Worcester County, please reach out to me by phone so I can provide you with more details, and I will continue to update you in coming IAC meetings as we make additional progress. This concludes my executive director's report for today, and I'm happy to stand for any questions you might have.
Any questions for Alex? The consent agenda. Alex, you have any thoughts, comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a relatively short one. We have 24 project contracts for approval. We have a very small easement in one district, and nothing remarkable here on this one.
Okay.
Any questions?
Hear a motion for approval of the consent agenda. Mr. Givens, second by Ms. Lemke. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hands. Any opposed? Okay. Let's go to item 3, Healthy School Facility Fund Administrative Procedures Guide and FY 2025 application schedule. Cassandra and Arabia.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning.
In 2020, the state created the Healthy School Facility Fund to address immediate needs in school facilities, including heating and cooling, lead remediation, roof replacements, and other health issues like air quality issues or environmental contaminant issues. The agenda item for your consideration today is approval of the next year of the program, the fiscal year 2025 Healthy School Facility Fund, which is allocated for $90 million in this year's budget. In compliance with statute, 50% of the funds are set aside for city schools. Just so that you know, last year we did award a total of $44.9 million to 24 school projects in Baltimore City and $45 million to other critical school projects in the rest of the state. Staff of the IAC are recommending technical modifications to the Administrative Procedures Guide and also requesting your authorization to begin accepting those funding requests as outlined in the application schedule beginning today. The primary change to the APG, I'm very excited to say, is to require submission of the applications through the IAC's new business management system. We're also requesting approval to start receiving applications from all of the LEAs within the next month or so, with the exception of Baltimore City, who has a longer time period to submit their applications, which is in accordance with statute that says that they need to have a separate application process. The motion is to approve the fiscal year 2025 Healthy School Facility Fund Administrative Procedures Guide as shown in the presented draft document, and to authorize IAC staff to solicit applications from LEAs and the Maryland School for the Blind for projects that will improve the health of school facilities and to evaluate project requests based on a competitive application process. IAC staff are authorized to make non-substantive edits as necessary.
Thank you, Cassandra. There a motion to that effect? Ms. Lemke and Mr. League, thank you very much. Any discussion? Any questions about the motion? All in favor say aye or raise your hand. Any opposed? Thank you. Item 4, Aging Schools Program Administrative Procedures Guide and FY 2025 application schedule. Cassandra?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is very similar to the last one, but for a very different program. The Aging Schools Program is a statutory program that provides $6.1 million per year to LEAs with specific amounts to each LEA that are prescribed by statute. You can see those amounts on page 78 of your agenda. The program provides relatively small amounts of money to LEAs for maintenance and capital maintenance projects. Funds are provided without a local match requirement, and the eligible uses of the funds are broader than most of our programs. Edits to this year's Administrative Procedures Guide include minor formatting edits, update to COMAR references and reimbursement instructions, and just as I mentioned in the Healthy Schools, also an update to require that the applications be submitted through the IAC's new business management system. The motion is to approve the Aging Schools Program Administrative Procedures Guide and to authorize IAC staff to make non-substantive edits as needed, to open the FY 2025 ASP application period and direct staff to solicit ASP projects from LEAs with a maximum total allocation of $6.1 million in accordance with and contingent upon passage of the FY 2025 state budget, and to delegate authority to approve eligible projects within each total LEA allocation to IAC staff and designees, with a report of project allocations submitted to the IAC periodically at regularly scheduled meetings.
Thank you, Cassandra. Any motion, your motion to that effect? Ms. Everhart and Mr. Gibbons seconds. Questions? So Cassandra, this amount of money's never changed, right?
It has not, Mr. Chair.
Through the years. Mr. Derenberg,
So normally it would be the commission that approved the request. And this is the second program that we're just letting go to the agency itself to approve.
So, Mr. Chair, there are two programs where the commission has historically delegated authority to the staff to approve projects. And those are programs where the commission or the budget authorization sets the allocation to go to the LEAs. So the staff are never making decisions about how much to allocate. We are only determining the eligibility of a program within the allocation that is already approved by the commission. That's why these two programs, which are this one and the school safety grant program, are delegated to staff, where the other programs where there are funding decisions to be made, each individual project approval comes to the commission.
I appreciate the promotion. Okay, I got you. Thank you.
any other questions on the motion? All in favor, say aye or raise your hands. Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Cassandra. Item 5, maximum state allocation increase in award of reserve funds, Washington County Public Schools, Williamsport High School Electrical Replacement Project. Lisa Vaughn.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Lisa Vaughn, and I am the assigned Capital Projects Manager for Washington County. Washington County Public Schools informed the IAC staff on March 26, 2024, that bids received for the Williamsport High School Electrical Distribution Replacement Project came in higher than anticipated. This project was originally estimated in the summer of 2021 and awarded funding in the FY23 CIP. Since that time, the market has experienced increases in electrical equipment cost, manufacturing cost, transportation cost, and labor, all of which have contributed to this project coming in over the original budget. An additional $215,500 is needed for this project to move forward. Per COMAR 14390207, the IAC sets the maximum state allocation in the State Capital Improvement Program. The IAC may increase the maximum state allocation for a systemic renovation project when the LEA submits the bid tabulation for the project and the IAC determines the requested scope of work is eligible for state funding and the scope of work and associated costs are reasonable. Staff of the IAC have reviewed the bid tab and are in full support of the LEA's request. I will now read the motion. The motion is to increase the maximum state allocation for the Washington County Williamsport High School Electrical Distribution Replacement Project from $377,000 to $592,500 in accordance with Comar 14390207 and to transfer $215,500 from the LEA's reserve funds to the FY 2023 Capital Improvement Program project. I can now stand for questions.
Thank you, Lisa. Do I hear a motion to that effect, supporting Mr. Derenberg, second by Ms. Eberhardt? Any questions for Lisa about the motion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion's passed. Item 6, gross area baseline variance, Calvert County Public Schools Northern Middle School Replacement Project. Lisa?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Comar allows for the IAC to adjust.
Oh, Senator Lawler.
I just want to be sure you know I'm here.
Yeah, I saw you. Thank you.
Okay.
Wouldn't miss you. Go ahead, Lisa.
Comar allows for the IAC to adjust gross area baseline square footage on a case-by-case basis based on unique circumstances documented and submitted by LEAs. Calvert County Public Schools is requesting a GAB variance for the Northern Middle School Replacement Project. The information provided by CCPS, along with the program requirements for the project, were analyzed, and it was determined that additional square footage was warranted to support the project. This determination was based on a few factors. Middle school programming emphasizes the use of a team-based structure to provide transitional support for students leaving the elementary school environment but not yet ready for the high school environment. This includes scheduling that allows students to function as a unit as they move through their core classrooms and specialty programs, as well as the school's architectural layout that supports separation of students of vastly different maturity. Due to the team-based structure of the program, as well as the lower number of students attending Northern Middle School, the core classrooms are more typically used at a 75% utilization versus the 85% utilization that was anticipated in the development of the gross area baseline and is often more easily achieved in larger middle schools. In addition, specialty classrooms with specialty equipment are still required in order to deliver the same quality of education as a larger middle school. Again, due to the lower number of students attending Northern Middle School, this results in lower utilization of those spaces. Because of these considerations, IAC staff recommend approval of an additional 3,857 gross square feet for the project, which results in an estimated increase to the maximum state allocation of $1,293,000 based upon the IAC's current funding factors. I will now read the motion. The motion is to approve a gross area baseline variance for an additional 3,857 gross square feet at Calvert County's Northern Middle School, which increases the eligible building area from 101,219 to 105,076 gross square feet based upon an eligible enrollment of 692 students. I can now stand for questions.
Thank you, Lisa. Do I hear a motion? Mr. Derenberg?
Yes, yeah.
And Ms. Wright, seconds. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So this middle school is students from all over the county goes to that school, not just their area or what? It's a specialty middle school, they're saying?
No, it is a standard middle school in Calvert County. It's just one that is on a smaller statute versus across Maryland, where there's some of the middle schools are much larger.
So it's not a specialty middle school?
No,
Or is there a program? Okay.
Are you satisfied, Mr. Derenberg?
Yeah, I guess so.
Alex, you want to add anything?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Derenberg, if it might shed a little bit of light on this, the gross area baselines for middle schools are built on a historical approach of state funding looked at middle schools along with high schools as a secondary grades block. And what we've been seeing is that over time, many school districts have been shifting towards a team-based instructional approach in middle grades that is more like the elementary approach than the high school approach. And that essentially that results in a little bit lower utilization of the core classrooms, does require a little bit more space to do it correctly. And in this case, this particular middle school has that type of program, and in addition is small enough that the utilization differences really result in a significant difference in the square footage. And so what we are proposing here is supporting the design that is addressing the needs of the students in the program there. It's still efficiently done, but it was not fully supported by the old secondary approach to the square footage allocation. So this is a way to address the specific needs of this school.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Any other questions?
Great.
Okay, everyone in favor of the motion, raise your hand, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Lisa. Item 7, Built to Learn funding request, Calvert County Public Schools Northern Middle Replacement Project. To Terry and Sims and Lisa.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. My name is Terrion Sims, and I am one of the IAC's funding program assistants. With me today is Calvert County's assigned capital project manager, Lisa Vaughn. As referenced by Lisa in the previous presentation, the GAB variance requested for Northern Middle School replacement project increases the maximum state allocation to $35.1 million. To help keep the Northern Middle School replacement project moving forward, the LEA has requested that their entire BTL allocation totaling $13.5 million be awarded. Through the fiscal year 2025 capital improvement program, the project is anticipated to be recommended at the IAC's May meeting and contingent on the state's final capital budget. After an in-depth staff analysis, we recommend support of the LEA's request. If you like, I can now read the motion, which is to approve Calvert County Public Schools request for Built to Learn construction funding for the Northern Middle School replacement project totaling $13,566,212.
Thank you, Terry. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Ms. Lemke, second by Ms. Everhart. Questions? So how did this come about exactly? Terry?
How did this?
Yeah. The need for the motion. Go ahead.
Yes, how did this come about? They were originally trying to do another project, but decided that this particular project had more of a precedence.
Okay. Gotcha.
And
Any other
Mr. Chair,
questions
if I can add a quick comment
Yes.
on this.
Yeah.
Thank you. This, as I've reported in past meetings, the Built to Learn program is a multi-year program in which each LEA has received a total earmarked amount that it can devote to a number of projects potentially. And some of the LEAs have requested and received from the IAC approval for spending all of those earmarked dollars on projects to date. And others, such as Calvert, had not brought forward projects to use all of their available Built to Learn funding. And so IAC staff have been working hard with each of the LEAs who have not yet used all of their earmarked funds to identify the right projects that will bring about the best possible return on the investment of those funds and bring them to you for approval. This one, as well as the Garrett County Built to Learn Act approval that is coming soon as well in this agenda are two examples of what we expect to be a group of Built to Learn allocation requests coming over the next few months, which is very good progress. I'm very pleased that the LEAs are forwarding to us these requests and moving to use and allocate all the remaining Built to Learn Act funds so that they don't sit on the shelf and lose purchasing power. So these two are another good step forward on that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any more questions on the motion? All in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Item number 8, gross area baseline variance, Garrett County Public Schools, Broadford Elementary, Southern Middle School. Gene Chanholtz.
Morning, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Eugene Chanholtz, and I'm in the IAC's lead capital projects manager and the CPM assigned to Garrett County Public Schools. This is another gross area baseline request like the one Lisa presented in item 6, but based on a different justification. In October of 2023, Garrett County Public Schools submitted for IAC consideration a GAB variance request for additional gross square foot for the Broadford Elementary, Southern Elementary School renovation and addition project. This facility is slated to become a pre-K through 6 facility called Broadford Elementary School in the future, which will house the existing Broadford Elementary students, as well as the 6th grade students from Southern Middle School. The 7th and 8th grade students currently at Southern Middle will move to Southern High School. Staff analyzed the information provided by Garrett County Public Schools, as well as other applicable documentation regarding the program requirements for the project, and found that the additional square footage was warranted to support the project for the following reasons. The use of an existing middle school to be modified and repurposed as an elementary school resulted in several spaces being oversized for the requirements of an elementary school program. It would be cost prohibitive to modify these spaces to account for this discrepancy. Therefore, it is in the best fiscal interest for the LEA to retain those existing spaces. Garrett County Public Schools has also established an alternative education program, the Students Taking Active Responsibility for Success, STARS program, that will be housed in the newly renovated building. Square footage allocation for alternative education is not accounted for in the existing gross area baseline methodology. Therefore, additional square footage can only be allocated for this program via the GAB variance process. Based on these two considerations, IAC staff recommend approval of an additional 5,527 gross square feet for the project, which results in an estimated increase to the maximum state allocation of $2.7 million based upon the IAC's current funding factors. The motion is to approve a gross area baseline variance of 3,661 gross square feet to 106,188 gross square feet based upon an eligible enrollment of 774 students. I can now stand for questions.
Thank you, Gene.
You're welcome.
Do I hear a motion to this effect? Ms. Wright, Superintendent Wright, and second by Mr. League. Discussion. Any questions for Gene on this issue? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye or raise your hands. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Item number 9, Built to Learn funding request, Garrett County Public Schools, Broadford Elementary, Southern Middle, renovation and addition project. Detarian?
Good morning again, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. Garrett County Public Schools is requesting approval to apply their entire Built to Learn funding allocation totaling $3.1 million for the Broadford Elementary Southern Middle School project presented by Eugene in item 8. Given item 8's approved gross area baseline state variance, the maximum state allocation is now $45.3 million. The expectation is that this project will be recommended for partial funding through the IAC's FY 2025 Capital Improvement Program in May. Based on the analysis performed by the IAC staff, we recommend approval of the LEA's request. The motion is to approve Garrett County Public Schools request for Built to Learn construction funding for the Broadford Elementary Southern Middle School renovation and addition project totaling $3,162,862. I can now stand for questions.
Thank you, Detarian. Do I hear a motion to this effect? Mr. Luke, and second by Mr. Gibbons. Questions, comments on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye, raise your hands. Any opposed? Motion's carried. Item 10, Built to Learn funding request, Talbot County Public Schools, Chapel District Elementary School Renovation Addition Project. Tatiana?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I am Talbot County's assigned funding and finance assistant, Tatiana Tate, and with me today is the assigned CPM for the county, Lisa Vaughn. The Talbot County Public School System has submitted a funding request through the Built to Learn program to apply their entire allocation totaling $3.8 million to the Chapel District Elementary School Renovation Addition project. Based on staff's analysis of the funding factors detailed on the computation worksheet located on page 109, the maximum state allocation for this project is $13,357,000. IAC staff anticipate that any remaining construction funding will be sought through the IAC's capital improvement program, and contingent on the final state capital budget and approval of partial funding is expected to be recommended through the fiscal year 2025 capital improvement programs. The motion is to approve Talbot County Public Schools' request for Built to Learn construction funding for the Chapel District Elementary School Renovation Addition project totaling $3,878,801. I can now stand for questions.
Thank you, Tatiana. Hear a motion to that effect. Superintendent Wright, second by Ms. Lemke. Any questions or comments on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye, raise your hands. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Item 11, FY 2024 Healthy Schools Facility Fund Realignment and Reversion Request, Carroll County Public Schools. Terrian, you're up again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Carroll County Public School System is requesting approval to rescind $2,240,000 awarded last year through the FY 2024 Healthy School Facility Fund for the window replacement project at Westminster High School. This project will be reevaluated in the future to determine if the project will be resubmitted for funding through one of the IAC's various funding programs. To cover funding shortages on other HSFF projects due to recent bid results, the LEA is requesting that a portion of the rescinded funds totaling $1,435,000 would be reassigned to the FY 2024 HSFF HVAC project Oklahoma Road Middle School and $211,996 to the FY 2023 HSFF roof replacement project at North Carroll Middle School. Since HSFF is a competitive funding program, the IAC staff recommends that the remaining $593,004 revert back to statewide HSFF reserve account for reallocation at a future date. The motion is to cancel the FY 2024 Healthy School Facility Fund, Carroll County Public Schools, Westminster High School window project totaling $2,240,000 and to reallocate $1,435,000 to the FY 2023 HSFF Oklahoma Road Middle School HVAC project. Reallocate $211,996 to the FY 2023 HSFF North Carroll Middle School roof replacement project and rescind the remaining $4 to the statewide Healthy School Facility Reserve Fund for reallocation. Sean is available to respond to project-specific questions.
Thank you, Terrian. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Mr. Derenberg makes a motion, Mr. Leake seconds. Questions, comments on the motion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye or raise your hands. Any opposed? Okay. Item 12, disposal of state-owned relocatable unit and funding for demolition, St. Mary's County Public Schools.
Morning again, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. This action item is for approval to dispose of a state-owned relocatable unit currently located behind Benjamin Banneker Elementary School in St. Mary's County and to provide funding in the amount of $30,333 from the statewide reserve account to demolish the unit. In early March, IAC staff received correspondence from St. Mary's County Public Schools indicating that the relocatable unit, initially built in January of 1987, was in need of extensive repairs in order to maintain operability. The unit is no longer needed for instructional purposes, and given the extensive repairs required, St. Mary's County Public Schools obtained proposals to explore the cost for demolition utilizing an existing Charles County Public Schools demolition contract. IAC staff recognize that this relocatable unit has exceeded its expected useful life and recommend approval of the request to dispose. In order for St. Mary's County Public Schools to proceed with demolition, the IAC must approve the disposal. IAC approval will initiate the process for final disposition that is required by the Department of General Services. The $30,333 in requested funding represents 58% of the total demolition cost consistent with the state share that currently applies to St. Mary's County. The motion is to approve the disposal of state-owned relocatable unit number 53308, stationed at Department of Supporting Services campus behind Benjamin Banneker Elementary School in St. Mary's County Public Schools for the purpose of demolition, and to, upon approval of the disposal of the unit by the Department of General Services, provide demolition funding totaling $30,333 from the statewide relocatable repair fund, a subset of the statewide reserves. I can now stand for questions.
Thank you, Gene. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Superintendent Wright and Mr. Gibbons seconds. So how many of these units are left in Maryland, Gene? Do you know?
I do not know off the top of my head. I do know we have a tracker for that. Typically, Maryland State Department of Education provides a report on that at an IAC meeting during the year.
Okay.
You can get that information and provide it.
Mr. Derenberg.
So is $30,000 for one unit to destroy? Or because initially I thought you said 3,333, and my agenda said 30,000, and then you said 30,000 again. So is it 30,000 to destroy one unit?
So the $30,333 represents the 58% state cost share. This is over $50,000 in terms of the total cost. A lot of that is due to there being asbestos in this particular unit, requiring hazardous material waste procedure for disposal, among other things.
I want to say, like 3 months ago, we destroyed another one and was not nearly that expensive. If I remember right.
Correct. That was another relocatable disposal request by St. Mary's County Public Schools, and that
How much was that one?
I think the state share of that one, if I recall correctly, was around $5,000. However, that unit did not have asbestos containing materials contained within it.
And that seems like a lot for a portable unit. And
I will say,
$52,000
I will say just to relocate a portable unit is also a very expensive endeavor that many local education agencies have to do from time to time again. That can be in the 50 to 100 grand range to relocate some of these portables and reset them back up. A lot of that's the permitting requirements.
Foundations and stuff, right? That's what foundations and.
Correct.
I mean, it's not getting a crane into getting a truck.
Yeah, the separation, foundation, site prep for where they're being relocated, associated permitting fees, et cetera, et cetera.
Mr. Chair, if I might make a quick additional comment here.
Yeah.
In our look at relocatables across the state fleet, which my memory is, I also don't have the spreadsheet right at my fingertips here, but is that the state still owns about 100 relocatables that it has deployed out to school districts. The average age of those relocatables is quite high. It's beyond what we would want for an average lifespan of relocatables. And in this case, as in many cases, the cost to demolish and remove that is less than repurposing it with needed repairs. This is definitely the most cost efficient and appropriate way to resolve the issues here with this relocatable. The costs have been going up. It's really unfortunate that they are so high for one unit, but unavoidable in this case. And I still think it's absolutely the best way to go for St. Mary's County Public Schools. And under the state's existing rules, the state does pick up a share of that cost. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Lemke, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wondered, what is the average expected useful life of a relocatable unit?
Alex or Jim?
Thank you. The IAC's guideline is 15 years for relocatables and 20 years for modular units, which are a little bit more substantial and expected built to last a bit longer. The average age from my memory, and I would be happy to check the statistics and bring them back to you at the next meeting with more detail, is that they're in the upper 20s to 30-year average now. So most of these relocatables are quite aged, and the conditions are not what you would want. And school districts are looking to obtain improvements to their teaching and learning environments, and also reductions to the long-term cost of ownership for space. And so these relocatables are less and less useful and appropriate.
I think last time we spoke, I think you said the state-owned average age was like 1987. I think something crazy was up there in age.
Yeah, it's very high.
Any other comments? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed? Motion, Mr. Derenberg opposes. Motion passes. That's the end of the agenda. Do I hear any, does anyone want to make any comments or announcements regarding anything? I just wanted to say myself that during the session, being in Annapolis a few times and listening to other people speak about the IAC, that we're continuing to get a lot of really positive comments about the work of our staff and how accommodating they are to make things work. And we're hiring some really good people. And I think we're making a lot of progress in terms of developing reputation that we try to make things happen and not be a roadblock in any way. So I want to thank the staff for all they do.
Mr. Chairman, this is Gloria
Yes.
Lawler. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
When are we going to come to Baltimore and see our new space?
I brought that up the other day in a conversation, and all the carpeting evidently has not been installed. So as soon as staff feels that the space is ready for inspection, we will accommodate that visit. So thanks for asking. But we thought about having some kind of open house, maybe a meeting. I don't know. We're going to do something there. But appreciate you asking about it. Anything else? Do I hear a motion that we adjourn? Mr. Derenberg, second by Ms. Everhart. All in favor, say aye. No. Good to see you all. Have a good month.
Thank you, you too.
Take care. Bye-bye.